Picture this. Two people can earn exactly the same salary for 20 years, right? And at the end of it, one becomes a millionaire while the other is barely scraping by, living paycheck to paycheck. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference? It isn't intelligence, it's not their education, it's not even their income. It is actually something far more powerful. It's their psychology. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely unpack the hidden psychology of money. And trust me, the science behind why we do what we do with our cash is absolutely fascinating.
So let's look at those two identical earners again. They have the exact same starting line, the exact same paycheck, but over 20 years, their paths drastically diverge. One ascends to true wealth, and the other ends up flat broke. Why does this happen? Well, it's because the way we acquire, keep, and grow wealth is governed way more by human behavior and our emotional patterns than by technical financial expertise or crunching numbers. We love to assume that humans are perfectly rational calculators, don't we? But science actually shows that our childhood conditioning and our everyday habits consistently override cold, hard logic.
So let's jump right into the core of the problem. Why hard work simply doesn't always equal wealth. You know that old saying, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations? Well, the data totally backs it up, and it's because the sheer weight of our everyday behavioral traps literally destroys wealth. We fall into lifestyle inflation, meaning the absolute second we get a raise, our expenses just magically rise right alongside it. We get caught up in social comparison, constantly measuring our own success by the cars parked in our neighbor's driveway. We use emotional spending as a coping mechanism for a bad day. We cave to instant gratification. And the reality is, without intentional financial education and really strong behavioral systems, even a massive high-earning income can be completely wiped out by these everyday blind spots.
Which brings us to the psychology of money. Consider this your crash course in Behavioral Economics 101.
The absolute most crucial starting point here is understanding the fundamental difference between being rich and being wealthy. They are not the same thing. Being rich basically just means you have high current spending power. It's loud, it's highly visible, you see the nice clothes, the flashy cars, the expensive vacations. But wealth, true wealth, is actually invisible. It's the luxury cars you didn't purchase. It's the diamonds you didn't buy. Wealth consists of hidden assets and delayed gratification. It is, quite simply, the freedom of unspent. And this brilliantly illustrates why so many of us struggle to build that invisible wealth. There's this incredibly fascinating study by researchers at the Kellogg School of Management, and they found that a massive driver of emotional spending is actually a feeling of powerlessness. When people feel a lack of control or status in their everyday lives, they experience this intense desire to acquire. The study showed that folks experiencing a low sense of power were suddenly willing to pay significantly higher prices for status-oriented items. Think silk ties, designer sneakers, exclusive executive pens, just to compensate for their psychological insecurity. We are literally buying things to restore our lost sense of power. Crazy, right?
Furthermore, our egos severely distort our financial reality. Have you heard of Dr. Paul Piff's famous Monopoly experiment? It is wild. Researchers took a simple coin flip and randomly assigned one player to be the rich player. They gave them twice the starting money, double the salary, and 2 dice to roll. They completely rigged the game. Yet, as the rich players inevitably started winning, they started smacking their pieces on the board, acting super arrogant, and even eating more of the provided snacks. But here's the kicker. When asked why they won, the rich players attributed their victory to their own brilliant strategies and skill. They almost entirely ignored the incredibly lucky coin toss that guaranteed their success in the first place. This self-serving bias makes us totally overconfident and blind to the massive role that luck and risk actually play in our financial lives.
Let's bring this into the real world with 3 tales of wealth. It's all about how everyday choices create lifetime results. Story number 1 follows 2 friends. They start at year 1 with the exact same salary. By year 3, friend A decides he really needs to look successful, so he finances a luxury car. Meanwhile, friend B is over here practicing the ultimate adult version of the marshmallow experiment. He embraces delayed gratification and quietly invests that exact same monthly amount. Fast forward to year 7, friend A is stressed out by the debt and the maintenance costs, while friend B's investments have started this massive snowball effect of compounding interest. By year 10, the gap between them is just staggering. Friend A is effectively broke, completely trapped by his obligations, while friend B has built a rock-solid foundation of invisible wealth. That right there is the staggering power of long-term compounding over instant gratification. Now, story number 2 is the classic tragedy of the young professional. Imagine a really talented worker who gets promotion after promotion,
Awesome, right? But with every single pay bump, they upgrade their apartment, and then they buy a bigger house, and then they take more lavish vacations. They are running faster and faster on a literal hedonic treadmill. They're making more money than ever before, but their stress is actually higher because their baseline for what brings them happiness just keeps resetting. This is the ultimate lifestyle inflation trap. They are caught in a vicious cycle of earning to spend, completely unable to step off the treadmill. And finally, story number 3, the quiet compounder. This is your average earner who is quietly building an absolute empire. Scientific research into the Big 5 personality traits reveals that conscientiousness is actually the primary wealth trait. It's not about being the loudest person in the room or even the smartest. It's about being organized, responsible, and actually capable of delaying gratification. This kind of person consistently puts small amounts into a growing vault decade after decade. They don't rely on getting motivated every day. Instead, they rely on automated systems. Because at the end of the day, systems beat motivation every single time. So, how do we actually put this into practice? Let's go through the 7 rules of wealth, actionable steps to secure your future. Let's rapid fire through these. Rule 1, pay yourself first. You've got to remove the money from your checking account before you have this psychological temptation to spend it. Rule 2, invest consistently. Take full advantage of that compounding snowball we talked about. Rule 3, avoid status spending. Remember that Kellogg study? Don't buy things just to signal fake power to strangers. Rule 4, think in decades, not days. This helps you overcome recency bias and the fear of short-term losses. Rule 5, build systems, not motivation. Automate your savings entirely. Rule 6, increase your income, absolutely, but forcefully save the difference to defeat lifestyle inflation. And finally, Rule 7, focus on freedom. But here is where things get really interesting. Let's look at the twist, redefining the actual goal of money. We've got to slow down for a second here, because there is a profound twist in the scientific research about what money actually does to our human brains. $75,000. A landmark study from Purdue University looked at data from 1.7 million individuals worldwide, and they found that your day-to-day emotional well-being, your actual daily feelings of happiness, excitement, or sadness, tends to plateau around an income of $60,000 to $75,000. Sure, earning beyond that point improves your overall evaluation of your life, but it doesn't really change your daily happiness on a Tuesday morning. In fact, pushing way past this threshold can sometimes lead to a slight decline in well-being because of the added stress, the social comparison, and the materialistic desires that come with it. The biggest secret to all of this isn't just earning more. It's recognizing when you finally have enough and knowing how long you can keep what you earn. And that brings us to the ultimate aha moment of this whole explainer. Society constantly tells us that the goal of money is to become rich, to buy the luxury goods, the massive house, the shiny watch. But the true, psychologically fulfilling goal of money is to become free. Money's greatest intrinsic value is its ability to give you control over your own time. It buys you the option to simply say no. It buys you the flexibility to handle life's inevitable emergencies without going into a total panic. And it buys you the autonomy to wake up and design a life completely on your own terms. Which leads us to our final takeaway, the ultimate goal. Wealth is behavior. To wrap all this up, wealth is behavior and money is psychology. It's not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about the human mind that's actually reading that spreadsheet. Consistency beats intensity every single time, and financial freedom, not just buying more stuff, is the ultimate prize here. I really want to leave you with this final powerful thought to reflect on today. Wealth isn't built when everyone is watching. It's built quietly, one decision at a time. Every single time you choose not to upgrade your lifestyle just to impress others, and every time you automate a savings deposit, you are actively practicing the psychology of wealth. So what quiet decision are you going to make today? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to take these insights and start building your own invisible